I wanted to write poems, but I had bills to pay. So I shoved them to the bottom of my purse with old receipts and loose change, stuffed them in my back pocket between errands, tattered tendrils falling and catching beneath my feet, pockmarking the sidewalk like old gum, and between my steps I could hear them, beginning to sing. But I slipped on my headphones and there were no poems. I wanted to write poems, but I had to eat, shop the groceries and bag them by temperature, wash the fruit and vegetables of the poison that coats their skins, wash the meat of the poisons that coats its skins, pick out the rot before it's spread. I had to cut and chop and season and marinate. I had to cook and serve and eat, and between open mouthfuls of flavor and gnashing teeth, I could taste them. But I swallowed them down and there were no poems. I wanted to write poems, but there were birthdays that ended in sloppy, drunken nights blanketed with the stars of city windows, and there were funerals that ended in sloppy, drunken nights blanketed with the stars of city windows, and there, in the hanging hope between laughter and tears, I could see them. But I closed my eyes and there were no poems. I wanted to write poems, but there was a genocide happening and wars everywhere, mutilated bodies plastered across my screens that I couldn't look away from, blood on my hands that I couldn't wash out, and I had to be a witness and put my body in the street and chant with someone to some God to make it end. And in the prayer and in the march of our determined feet, I could feel them. But I turned my head and there were no poems. I wanted to write poems, but there was laundry to do, clothes to be washed and folded and then worn again, and the fridge needs to be cleaned out every 2 weeks, and the sink every day, and the trash is piling up, and in the smell, a reminder of the stink of the poems that I don't have time to write, rotting and souring and decomposing in me, becoming soil, fertilizing new beginnings again, but I let them become nothing instead. I wanted to write poems, but the phone was ringing, and the mailbox was filling, and the emails were pinging, and the meetings continued to circle back and hop back on and loop me in again, and in screens and in rooms filled with voices, full to the brim with words. I listened, and I listened again, and there were somehow still no poems. I wanted to write poems, but I kept getting older and gaining weight, my hips holding the heavy of my life, hurting my back, the years sagging on my face, tugging at the corners of my mouth, pressing their fingers into the sides of my eyes, shocking strands of my hair white. And I look in the mirror at this passage of time, and I see the poem in this living too, and still I let it die. There are no poems that are still alive. I wanted to write poems, but I needed money, and I needed validation, and I needed touch, and I needed rent, and I needed drugs, and I needed orgasms, and I needed liquor and sweat and promises that were never kept. I needed excuses. I needed to be sick with my sick, looking for more sick, wanting more. Still, I wanted to write poems, but I didn't want to live. And somehow the poems were still there, writing me back into existence again. Thank you.